Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and as you guys saw from that first clip, my camera turned off as soon as I started recording my top set of bench. It pretty much looks similar to the last one I did though. It was a 3-rep set. I'm trying to go really wide on it, going flat back, and it looked very much like these rep work coming up is. So let's get over to the chins. I decided today my shoulders feel good enough to do chins. Now my strategy is going to be, and I tested one out, I have not tried to do any chins, I've just done my dead hangs. I've been doing some of them with a supine grip. And I realize they've gotten to where they're pain-free. And I have not recorded any of it. I don't know what the range of motion looks like, but I did a chin while I was just kind of warming up a little to bench, and it didn't hurt at all. So I'm like, okay, let's just do some dead hang chins today and do the full range of motion that I am capable of doing right now. Again, I'm working on it. I'm doing all of the pullovers. I'm doing the dead hangs. I'm doing this stuff. And the way that I'm going to have to return to these is to just stretch from a dead hang every rep until my mobility improves as I'm increasing it, as I continue to work on it. So I'm just approaching the bar, finding what's my natural grip and using that. Now, is the range of motion at the bottom amazing? No. Does it still need to improve? Yes. But as you guys notice, I'm hanging, some of these I'm hanging a couple seconds and swinging. That's where I can go. That's it. So I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to continue to work on it. It's going to be something I do all the time. Now the trick is going to have to be any work I do like that, I'm not going to be able to risk shortchanging the reps. The only way this is going to work is if I take literally every single rep into a dead hang. But then we beg the question of why wouldn't we do that anyways? I've got to get my biceps to where they'll stretch all the way out. I've got to get my shoulders to where everything will open up. I'm taking it very seriously, taking the shoulder health seriously, taking the mobility seriously. It's going faster with the lower body. Now, that being said, what you just saw there was an improvement. A month ago, there's no way I could have done a single rep like that. There's no way. I did 3 sets of 8, again, taking them from a dead hang, coming up, taking every rep to as far as I can stretch. I'm going to have to keep working at it though. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's improvement. And I'll get there, but I do feel like doing actual chins at this point, now that I can do it without seeming to impinge anything, is going to be helpful. I just can't overdo them, right? So I decided to superset them with my 3 sets of bench. I did all the other pause work with 220 or 275, a couple sets of 6. All right, the incline benching, notice the grip is very similar. Taking that grip out wide, or pausing everything, touching, pausing, trying to get everything into the farthest linking positions that I can. And that's a theme you're going to notice on most of my work at this point. For those who are curious, yes, I am cutting. That's another thing. And I think that's going to be interesting. I'm doing everything shirtless and beltless. So the loose skin that I still have around the waist, you can see it. I'm now cutting. Now this first set of rows look like crap. I struggled to get in my groove. They just felt weird the first set. For the first couple reps, and they felt better. The later reps were okay. So what I'm trying to do on these, one of the reasons I'm using the barbell instead of the dumbbells, right, is they're easier to set up, right? It's just quicker. But the reason I'm not doing them off the floor, I can get a deeper stretch. That's it. I'm just trying to stretch my lats, okay? Trying to get the longest range of motion possible, and I want the most grip work out of my back work. All right, this second set of inclines with 225, I managed to squeeze out 8 reps, called it there. It's not a PR, but here's the thing. I want good challenging sets. Good challenging sets. So we ended up doing 3 with 315 on the flat bench, then a couple sets of 6 with 275, then 6 and 8 on 225. Again, keeping in mind, I'm trying to do the hardest versions possible of those lifts. It's not the same lift that you guys saw me do 8 reps with, like on the flat bench, right? That was inside the rings, arch, belt, wrist wraps. Now I'm doing everything really the hard way, trying to build as much chest as possible. And yes, I do think, and that's a strategy I'm going to use with all this, as I'm cutting, I think between old muscle memory, improving mobility, and getting stuff into all these lengthened positions, I do think I'm going to be able to gain a little bit of muscle while I'm trimming some body fat. I'm going to actually attempt recomposition while the scale slowly works down. I'm at 222 this morning, by the way. For those who are curious, actually I've been there a couple days now. So was up at 225, 226, now I'm down to 222. Started adding conditioning work in. I've cut my calories just a little bit. But I need the training to be maximum muscle stimulation. So everything's going to be that way. The tricep extensions, I'm now going behind the head. Why? We can get a longer stretch on the tricep. I can't do seated or standing ones behind the head. My shoulders are not quite allowing for that yet, but I can do lying extensions that way. All right, same thing with my curls. I'm leaning forward. I'm locking the elbows at the bottom. Why? I'm trying to stretch the biceps. I need to be able to lock my arms. Again, this is something I do agree with Jamie on. Bent elbows in any capacity on deadlifts is what causes tears. Now, for people who say you could hook grip, you could use straps, then why do we see guys on social media ripping biceps off the bone with straps and no overhand grip? All right, so if you guys really think it's the supine grip that's the real fault, when it's like, well, no, that's just the arm that's more likely to rip, then why are guys ripping biceps with straps and a double overhand grip? I've seen it in the last couple weeks on social media. It's because they have bent elbows. We've got to work on stretching that, okay? And the only way we're going to be able to do that's under load. It's going to have to be taking my chins to a dead hang. Keep stretching it, keep stretching it, keep stretching it until eventually the range of motion is there. My curls, I'm going to have to lean forward so that the bar is not limited by my thigh, okay? And again, this is almost like a drag curl, right? Not limited by the thigh. The other thing though, as I'm trimming down, we can see where the skin is. I think this is a good experiment for us to see how much, if getting leaner just over time, how much it causes skin to tighten, because I know plenty of trainers and coaches who said that. They're like, I've had people's skin tighten up, they just have to eventually have to get real lean. You know, and by lean doesn't even mean where I'm at now. They've got to get real to real lean, and you'll see that skin tighten up more. Because I'm at a decent body fat now, but again, that fat that sticks to the loose skin around the waist, though, you know, makes it look different. But there is definitely still fat in there. That's what loose skin is that the skin hasn't tightened, so then the subcutaneous fat has a larger surface to adhere to. So that's where your body fat tends to pool a little bit more, is in your areas with the loose skin. And, you know, you just have to burn it off, right? And you can't target it. You have to just lose body fat. So I'm just going to kind of see what happens with it. You guys can kind of watch along with me, right? You can watch along and let's see what it does in real time. I think it's a good experiment. The curls, I had to increase weight. I went up to 115. I had 95 and I knocked out 15 reps, and I still got like 11 or 12 and then 10 or 11, something like that. It was just 10 plus. I may need to increase the weight on these. Yes, I tend to always be stronger at curls than on tricep stuff. I think my biceps are probably just stronger than my triceps. I don't know. They both need to come up though. I think most people agree my arms are, you know, still probably just visually, not that visual is that big of a deal to me. Although I think it is to where it's starting to become more important, because I realize the marketing value, and I do realize the whole thing of bringing all elements to the table. You know, if we're going to train and be fit and be athletes, we should be strong, we should be conditioned, we should be mobile. We should probably look decent, you know. That's fine. I think it all balances together, and I don't think it's unrealistic for us to expect all of those. You know, it's like I don't know, what sort of goals should we really be setting? I don't know, be able to do 20 pull-ups or chin-ups, be able to squat 500 pounds ass to grass, run a 5K in 25 minutes, maybe have some abs. You know, so take those things I just listed. Those are pretty good goals for people to reach for. I think you could say you're pretty strong and fit. Took me really a moment to get into my groove on these because I was trying to find a spot. I noticed I was sliding on that grass. This is the best spot for me to film it. So it is a little problematic. I had to put something down to keep my AstroTurf from sliding. But again, couldn't quite find my position. Then I finally got in the groove in the end of all the sets. So again, I'm just going to keep moving forward on these. It's slowly getting better. We're seeing a little bit of improvement, and I'm going to continue that. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.